Alright, another day and another C++ program. This time is called Using Macro Functions. And to go ahead and get started in this program, I'll go ahead and declare, well, first of all, I'm missing everything here. Let's go ahead and start with this. Our includes, and then I'll just go ahead and manually type in these directives here. So here, we do this, semicolon, and yep, just like that. Nope, don't need a semicolon. Okay. So, this right here is a macro function that takes a single argument. We're also going to want another one here called cube, as we're dealing with shapes today apparently. Apparently this is how you get the area of a square. You multiply one variable and then another. In a cube, you multiply, length times width times height and such stuff that learn from geometry. And following this, I'm going to include this here. This is a inline function that takes a single argument. And as you can tell, it takes an integer in here, and then it'll return this multiplication formula. Apparently, these are just supposed to be the counterparts of these two, as you can see. And then, let's go ahead and build the main function all at once. Bam. So, in the main function, we get an integer called num, set it to 5. And then here we're just going to call the macro functions and the comparable inline functions. So we got macro square, inline square, like right here, you just, decapitalize it, then capitalize it to associate it with the names, and then pass the integer 5 in it. Let's go ahead and run. Alright, so apparently there's a build error. It's not liking this. It says macro function takes a single argument. Identifier n is undefined. What's the issue here? Well, I did this on purpose by typing this out because you want to watch how you space things. If you want to lump it together, the function and the variable you want to pass into it, in order for it to function. And then if you run it, if we somehow just decide one side of these lengths to be 5, we'll get this sort of math here, where the area of square is 25, the inline function is identical, then the cube is 125, and then one length of 5, times 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. So there you go with those figures. Apparently, it doesn't matter about how far you space it here or how close you space it. It only matters when you have this closing parentheses next to the macro right there, the macro function. And we're not quite done yet, so we're going to go ahead and exclude this and add a new item. And we're going to call it source 1. And in source 1, what's going to happen is we're going to be building macros that takes a series of characters passed as its argument. In other words, strings. And here are the two functions that we're going to define here. So, first of all, we got define line out str, and then it's going to have this statement here called cout with the brackets, and then pound str end line. So what this pound sign is, it's also known as a stringizing operator that converts a series of characters passed as a macro argument into a string. Down here, we got glue out that takes two variables apparently, and then here's the output statement here. And with the double hashtag, I call this a hashtag. Either way, pound hashtag. You get the picture. It's what we call a merging operator that combines two terms into a single term, which will make sense later on. So go ahead and get this out. Get our includes. Get some of the main function out here. And the lower half of the main function. And within the main function, I'm going to go ahead and add this. This is a string variable called longer line. We put a string in there. Then we will use this plus equal operator to assign or concatenate additional strings. And below this, we'll go ahead and declare our functions. So here we're going to be passing these characters into the stringizing macro. So as you can see, we didn't put the those quotes, those that are indicative of strings. We just typed in, just plain old characters to this line out and this line out. So this will be converted. Then here we'll be passing two of these longer and line into the merging macro. Apparently it's going to become longer line. I'll explain a little later once I run the program. And then once again, passing more characters. Okay, so it outputs just like a string. We have that string, it outputs. We have this string, it outputs in the second line. Then we have glue out, which takes this whole chunk and puts it in one line. And then we have the final line right here. So longer by itself has never been a variable that we assigned, and line by itself has never been a variable that we've ever assigned. But if we were to apparently pass it like in this format, it'll take it as if it's like one whole line. Like it's just it's the equivalent of this, essentially. And I should be saying line out. My bad. Oh no, my bad. That literally takes the string. It doesn't take variables. My bad. But basically, you know what it does. It'll take the variable and then output the string and combine the terms. Anyways, what I meant to actually do is compare it to something that looks like this, where we just define a regular macro function that takes a single variable, outputs whatever we have, and now we pass longer line into it. And with the regular out, then it will behave the same way by saying the same line as glue out. So yeah, that's what I meant to do.